day, every night, I've been thinking back on you and I. Every day, every night, I work my whole life just to get right, just to be like. Look at me, I'm never coming down. I work my whole life just to get high, just to realize everything I need is on everything I need. Hit the ball, hit the ball, hit the ball. Feeling shitty in my bed, didn't take my fucking meds. Hyper pop up in my ears, everything just disappears. Don't wanna be someone else, just don't wanna hate myself. I just don't wanna hate myself. That I wanna feel bad. I'm on a sugar crash, I ain't got no fucking cash. Maybe I should take a bath, cut my fucking brain in half. I'm not only just a bit tired of this fucking shit. Nothing that I
Hai semua, untuk slot kita yang seterusnya, kita akan beralih ke slot filem making bersama Irham Rusaidi dan juga Ama Azim. Irham Rusaidi merupakan seorang videografer, fotografer, director dan juga pensyarah. Manakala Ama Azim merupakan seorang filmmaker dan juga seorang content creator. Di dalam slot ini, mereka bersama host-host kami akan membincangkan tips-tips lakonan dan juga pembuatan filem. Jadi, jumpa anda di sana.
Hello, Assalamualaikum dan selamat petang semua.
Selamat petang. Welcome to Fuse the Muse hari ketiga hari ni.
Ya betul Akmal, dah hari ketiga dah Akmal. Cepat betul kan masa berlalu kan Akmal.
Bulan tu.
Akmal tengok tak video-video slot-slot before this?
Tengok full tengok full semua.
Tak pandang miss lah slot-slot
pandang miss.
before this. Wah Akmal, you memang gempak lah Akmal. Okay, so before tu pada penonton kita di YouTube live, jangan lupa tinggalkan komen, okay? Jangan lupa komen banyak-banyak. Slot petang ni adalah slot apa Akmal? Cuba borak sikit, slot apa ni Akmal?
So petang ni kita santai sikit. So kita akan sembang sikit pasal slot filem. Guest kita pun bukan seorang tapi 2 orang untuk petang ni.
Wow, slot filem ya Akmal? Wow. Yes. Okay, Cak Akmal.
Ya, Alia Natasha kata excited je.
Okay Alia, kita orang semua kat sini pun excited. Tak sabar nak tunggu slot ni tau Alia. Kita dah memang dari semalam kita orang tunggu nak tengok slot filem ni sebab saya adalah peminat penonton filem juga. So Akmal minat tengok filem tak?
Mesti. Filem tu memang favourite lah. Memang akan tengok setiap hari.
Memang favourite ah. So okay Akmal. Kalau filem luar negara lah kan Akmal. Apa favourite movie tu?
Kalau luar negara, Hunger Game. Ada suka Hunger Game tak?
Wow, saya pun peminat Hunger Games juga. Like sebab saya tak pernah miss dari series yang first sampailah habis. Dia ada 4 kan tak silap saya kan?
Yes, 4.
Betul. Okay. So kalau Akmal, kalau untuk luar negara Akmal minat Hunger Games. Kalau filem lokal Akmal minat filem apa?
Lokal saya suka Agent Ali. Animation.
Agent Ali. Wow, okay. Agent Ali. Oh, betul.
Agent Ali lain sikit kan daripada yang lain.
Betul. Saya Agent Ali tu kalau kita tengok dia punya animasi tu dah boleh standing luar negara kan sebab kita nampak dia punya semua
editing dia semua tu memang nice lah.
Okay, before that kita nak bagi tahu terima kasih kepada Atsui Clothing kerana menaja kita orang punya program Confess Use the Muse ni. Okay, kalau anda yang tengah tengok di YouTube sekarang ni, saya tengah pakai baju Atsui Clothing saya nak tunjuk kat anda semua. Ni adalah baju Atsui Clothing. Okay, ini adalah collection daripada Tokyo Revengers. Korang boleh tengok. Okay, saya nak tunjuk sekejap. Nampak okay Akmal belajar. Okay. So kalau korang nak tahu, kalau korang berminat lagi nak tengok collection dalam Atsui Clothing, korang boleh tekan pergi ke IG diorang Atsui Clothing. Macam-macam baju anime, macam-macam collection baju anime ada. Tokyo Revengers ada. Ni korang boleh tengok ni. Ini adalah watak daripada Tokyo Revengers iaitu Chifuyu, okay? So I think yang peminat yang tengok YouTube lah ni ramai minat anime, betul tak Akmal?
Saya anime, siapa je tak suka kan?
Betul. Okay, so Akmal.
Yes.
Agak-agak siapa guest kita untuk hari ni
hari ni guest kita ni special sikit.
Wow.
So mesti semua dah tak sabar kan nak tahu siapa pilih guest.
Betul, sebab saya pun memang tak sabar dengan diorang kata diorang dua ni adalah rupakan 2 pengarah yang hebat dan pengarah muda yang dah mengarah pelbagai filem-filem pendek yang ada yang dapat anugerah. So saya pun tak sabar nak tunggu diorang ni Akmal. So macam mana Akmal? Tanpa membuang masa lagi Akmal,
right, so jom kita introducekan Irham Rusaidi dan juga Ama Azim.
Okay.
So, hai Amar. Assalamualaikum.
Hi.
Hai Mai.
Hi Adam. Hi Akmal.
Hai,
Hi
Akmal.
everyone.
Hai. Okay, so semua sihat
Sihat, Alhamdulillah.
Ya. Irham sihat Irham? Irham tak buka mic Irham. Irham tak buka mic tau. Okay, tak apa. Irham sihat tak?
Alright.
Alright, okay. So sebelum
Sihat.
kita sebelum kita start kita tanya-tanya soalan dekat dua guest-guest kita ni kan. So kita nak tanyalah dulu kan macam mana perkembangan untuk Ammar dan Irham. So boleh tak macam saya rasa nak introduce nak tanya Ammar dulu. So Ammar masa COVID hari tu macam mana dengan ada apa aktiviti yang buat masa COVID hari tu? Adakah ada aktiviti-aktiviti lain selain daripada mengarah filem ke? Boleh tak Ammar ceritakan sedikit?
Okay, so what happened was last year bila when the pandemic hits tu, I actually baru habis shoot film Rahsia. It's called Rahsia. It's a remake.
Okay.
Directed by Syamil Othman, ada Nabila Huda and a lot of others lah. So we just finished that one and then terus lockdown, and when lockdown tu all of my shooting gigs semua macam kena cancel tau. So all kena postpone, kena cancel because we didn't know sampai bila it's gonna last kan the pandemic. So it went on and on and on. So I stopped working in the film set, working in the film industry, and I work in marketing side. So yeah, I didn't shoot much. I didn't work on film so much. I worked more on like mini films. I directed a few short films lah throughout the pandemic. Yeah.
I see. Okay. So nampak tu Akmal, COVID-19 punya masa PKP tu banyak aktiviti-aktiviti kita terhalang. Okay, macam mana dengan Encik Irham pula? Apa aktiviti masa dalam pandemik hari tu, masa COVID naik hari tu? Apa aktiviti Encik Irham?
Yang first.
Antara yang first
Okay. Terkejut tak? Sebab kita dah plan untuk 12 bulan. Untuk tahun 2020 tu kita dah plan macam-macam. Agak barai juga sebab kita dah plan, kita dah dapatkan dana, kita dah lock artis and location, tapi bila dah jadi macam ni terpaksalah buat benda-benda yang tak ada kena-mengena dalam bidang, terpaksalah kita ke dunia perniagaan macam bundle semua tu lah. Memang terkesan, tapi sempat shooting tahun lepas untuk Astro First, Mystic Trilogy Puaka mungkin akan ditayangkan di Astro First. So pelakon-pelakon macam Jalaluddin Hassan, Zali Siddiq, ada juga pelakon-pelakon daripada teater, Nisa Idrus and macam-macam lah, Uncle Satya semua. Banyak lagi.
I see. Okay, so penonton. Okay, penonton-penonton kat sana dengar
Sempat
tu.
kan?
Apa tadi Irham? Apa? Mistik apa? Apa nama rancangan tu?
Trilogy Puaka.
Okay. Siapa yang Mystic Trilogy Puaka. So jangan lupa tonton kat Astro juga nanti. Okay. So Akmal, macam-macam dorang punya karya ni, dua-dua pengarah ni bukan calon orang tau. Dorang punya karya gempak-gempak tau.
Biasa-biasa ni.
Bukan biasa-biasa tau. Akmal, you dah pernah tengok ke karya-karya dorang sebelum ni?
Mesti dah pernah.
Wah, Akila Syarudin cakap, wow, bestnya. Ni mesti ni peminat Ammar dengan peminat Irham ni. So Zalia Farisha cakap, I nak try berlakon juga. Boleh. Korang Azalia kena try, kena jumpa Irham atau Ammar, nak tengok, kena pergi audition dulu. Okay, Irham dan Ammar plan nak pergi mana since dah boleh rentas negeri. So nak tanya Ammar dululah. Ammar nak pergi mana? Kalau dah boleh rentas ni, nak pergi mana?
Nak pergi Penang sebenarnya, ada plan lah nak pergi Penang, nak makan apa tu, mi sotong kat sana.
Mi sotong. Okay. So Irham nak pergi mana lepas habis dah boleh rentas ni? Ke dah pergi dah?
Sabar.
Nak pergi sabar. I see. Okay. Tanpa membuang masa lagi Akmal, kita akan terus ke soalan yang kita nak tanya kepada director kita dua orang ni. Okay. So soalan pertama, saya nak tanya dulu lah kan. Bagaimana boleh anda berminat dengan filem? Adakah memang minat memang dari kecil ataupun kenal minat tu daripada zaman sekolah? So saya nak Ammar dululah ceritakan dulu.
Okay, so my story was I dulu study in MRSM. So during that time, I was just macam saja-saja. I was inspired by this one film called Inception. Kalau you guys have watched it, so that film macam inspired me macam like I could make something like this. So I decided to push myself and I just macam buat je. That one was like for Hari Guru. So I tak ada experience in filmmaking. I didn't have any experience in videography or anything. I don't have. I just push myself, buat je, and ended up people in my school suka. So from then on, it became like a yearly thing where every year people every year my school would like expect me to create a video, a short film for during Hari Guru. So from then on, I was sit down macam, oh okay, I am good in something, because honestly I was MRSM but I'm not good in academic. So well, UPSR I aced everything, but then when I got into IGCSE, I took IGCSE and I was not good in academic. So I was finding what is that one thing that I could be good at, and I found filmmaking. So yeah.
I see. So doesn't mean tu Akmal kalau kita tak good in academic, kita boleh try bidang lain pula,
Banyak
betul?
lagi benda yang kita boleh try, mana tahu bakat kita dekat tempat lain pula ke.
Okay, betul. Macam mana pula dengan Irham? Macam mana boleh start dengan minat dengan filem, ataupun memang minat dari kecil ke dah memang minat nak mengarah ni? Boleh tak Irham cerita sikit? Irham, boleh dengar tak?
Boleh ke tu?
Irham? Irham macam ada masalah teknikal dekat situ
Tidur dah Irham.
Irham dah tidur. Irham ada masalah internet di situ. Okey, tak apa. So nanti Irham kalau dah Irham dah tak ada. Okey, tak apa. So Akmal, I rasa kita kena move on to the next question lah kot, sebab Irham slow ni.
Kan tu dah tak ada lah.
Internet kot, internet.
Internet Irham ada masalah sedikit, tak apa. Kita tunggu dulu internet dia okey ke tak Irham. So okey, tak apa. So since Amma cakap tadi kan yang Amma is not really good in academic, but you try to be macam cuba bidang mengarah kan untuk buat create filem macam ni kan. So once you dah dapat tahu you minat bidang pengarahan ni, adakah you rasa memang you nak tinggalkan academic and terus fokuskan untuk bidang pengarahan ni?
Okay, so this is a funny story because I don't know if it's appropriate for me to say, tapi I think I'll just tell the story. So what happened was I took IGCSE and I did short films kan. I make short films like every year for Hari Guru, and then there was this one huge exam for IGCSE punya students where it's a very serious exam lah. It would determine us like whether we can go we can use that certificate for the future. So we are supposed to ace it. Tapi at that moment, I had like a crisis because I have problems with like catching up with education. So what happened was that during the exam week, the serious exam week too, I felt so low and I rasa macam I don't know what to do with my life. And during the exam too, I macam, what if I follow my purpose, I follow what I love. So I found myself my passion in filmmaking. So I decided to like, okay, never mind, I'll just go into this exam. I dah tak nak sedih-sedih, tak nak stress lah. I just go in this exam and I will do what I can, and yang I tak boleh I just tinggalkan. So that was what I did. I go into the exam, I jawab apa yang I boleh jawab, yang I tak boleh jawab, I dah letak tepi. I was the first one to finish in every exam during that exam week. In every exam, I was the first one yang dah habis, and then after habis tu, I wrote a script. So I wrote a script for a short film. So in every day tu I buat benda tu, and then bila I siap je my script, I terus shoot with a bunch of friends yang memang also gave up with the exam. So we just went on and shoot a short film, and it became a boom. So I wouldn't say that you have to neglect your education, but I think it's more on you yourself. You know what your capabilities are. So if you believe in something, then go for it. Yeah, doesn't matter if you believe in if you believe you can ace in this, then you go ahead. If you believe you can't, then you have to find a purpose. That's what I think. Yeah, but education is important, guys. So
Yeah. So still, kalau orang tu good in academic, just focus on academic. Kalau you jumpa something yang you good, just terus fokus kat situ. Kena fokus. Okay, so Akmal, you ada soalan nak tanya dekat ni? Since kita punya guest pun ada satu je.
Basically I nak tanya dekat you lah Amar, because I ada nampak dekat you punya YouTube, you pernah buat an experimental silent film which is called Kejap Je. So basically apa yang encourage you untuk macam try that kind of thing? Macam adakah it is a challenge for you or what?
Okay, so when I make short films from high school, it was always this kind of thing yang macam the story has to be like macam bila habis tu it has to be heartwarming, it has to be like wholesome, it has to be something yang macam buat kena people feel something and cry. But then I realized that I don't want to be that kind of director. I don't want to be associated of like macam kalau Amar Azim dia mesti buat something yang wholesome, kalau Amar Azim mesti buat something yang macam orang nangis macam tu. So I don't want that. So it made me like I want to challenge myself. I want to make something different. So I tried making a silent film. I tried making black and white film. I tried to make more stuff that I want to like experiment, not just within my shell. So I know I can be good at this. So I want to try what other things that I can be good at. So yeah. So if you tengok Kejap Je, that was actually a no script punya tu tau, a no script punya shoot. Basically I went out for a jalan-jalan with my friends, and then I macam okay, I can just shoot a video of them. So I just shoot all the footages yang you nampak tu in that short film, and then bila I balik I just put them all together and it became a story. So macam okay, this works. So okay lah, I just release it lah. So it wasn't planned pun.
I see. So you nak something yang lain daripada orang lain lah kiranya.
It's not more on like something different from other people. It's more on like what you feel right about it. Because my mindset is not to be macam I nak jadi different daripada orang lain. I nak macam I nak separate myself. No, it's more on like kalau I rasa that is the thing that I want to express, then that is what I want to express. It doesn't matter kalau benda tu sama dengan orang ke apa ke. I have no intention of like want to be different. I am more on like speaking my own voice. Yeah.
I see. Alright, so boleh tak you pun sharekan dekat kita sikit like you punya life sebelum you involve dalam industri filem, sebelum you jadi as a director ni. Apa you buat before this?
Before this. Okay. So okay. I'm gonna tell back about the story yang I skip. I went on with my exam yang I put it aside and I focus on making the script and make the short film. So what happened after that is that I don't know how I found the courage, but then I know that I'm not gonna ace in my education. So I just I went on Google and I just looked for film production in Malaysia. Film came across this one. So from there, I just I don't know, it was Form 4 me, 16 years old. I just wrote an email. I wrote an email to them. I asked them to like, boleh tak, can you review my short film, this short film, and tell me what I can do better. And then like not long after that, they emailed me back and they said that they really liked the short film and they said you should come over to our set when you are free. So I was like, okay, I have that motivation in me. So I worked my ass off during Form 4 and Form 5. I know that I want to reach there, but because I'm still studying, so I just macam okay lah, I just go through everything, buat je as best as I can. But then after SPM, we had that 3 months punya holiday kan, after SPM. I only took just 1 week of that holiday, and after that I just terus masuk that company, interview and everything. I became an unofficial intern for them for 7 months, and there I belajar daripada from rock bottom lah. I belajar everything from the rigging, the camera, the production assistant, everything lah. So from there I crawl myself up.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
So jap, Irham pun dah masuk. Irham dah masuk. Okay. So
maybe
Ahmad?
Irham
Irham pula
nak sharekan sikit.
Nak sharekan sikit. Akmal, tanya balik soalan yang pagi kat Ahmad tadi, you tanya balik kat Akmal.
So Irham, boleh tak you ceritakan sikit you punya life before you involve dalam industri perfilman, sebelum you be as a director ni?
First saya dengar okay. Okay, first saya mula dengan melukis. Actually I melukis mural di dinding sekolah tahun 2010-2011. So start pada tu kita pun fokus seni lah. Ambil SPM pun seni dengan perdagangan. And then start dari situ kita approve untuk pergi lebih ke step seterusnya. Kita ambil sijil dalam bidang animasi, course multimedia lah. So sama belajar pun dalam bidang multimedia, and then sama degree pun dalam bidang filem. So memang asal dia memang tak ada darah seni apa pun, cuma kita yang nak ke arah tu sebab benda yang kita minat.
I see.
Yes.
Okay. So based, saya tengok from Amar and Irham dua-dua datang daripada macam background yang berbeza. But at the end of the day, they still jadi a great director. Betul tak Akmal?
Yes, betul.
So okay,
Right,
Akmal nak
so-
tanya apa lagi?
Amar, you kan cakap you start orang kata nak involve dalam filem ini daripada you kat maktab kan. So basically macam mana you punya kawan-kawan you punya reaction time tu? Macam kawan aku ni nak jadi one of the film punya industry, nak jadi director. So macam mana diorang punya reaction? Adakah diorang support ke macam mana?
My friends actually were very very supportive, and diorang lagi suka sebenarnya to be in front of the camera and to help out semua. So they were very very supportive. It's just that you know lah, like the teachers were like macam always remind macam, oh buat macam tu pun, buat film pun have to focus on your studies. Jangan macam just focus on that one thing because you are not guaranteed yet. Macam tu kan. So it's true what they say. So but then in a way it kind of like discouraging, tapi I took it in a light way lah. I know that it's just a reminder for us to not neglect our studies. So yeah. So my family was very supportive as well. So yeah.
Ah, So dengar tu semua orang yang tengah tengok YouTube ni. So everyone, kalau kita ke kawan-kawan kita ke buat something yang lain ke daripada kita, just support dia, okay?
Kan, kena
Just
support.
Make sure benda tu at the end of the day dia akan bawa result yang positif juga, betul tak?
Betul.
Okay.
Right,
So Akmal,
after that kita nak juga tahu lah kan, sebab you know industri filem ni, being as director ni is not easy. So memang banyak sangat cabaran yang kita kena hadapi, especially bila kita nak siapkan satu-satu karya tu. So basically boleh tak you guys sharekan orang kata apa cabaran yang paling sukar yang you guys pernah hadapi sebagai seorang pengarah ni? So maybe kali ni Irham boleh share dulu.
Cabaran macam mana tu?
cabaran
Like
mana
that.
tahu
Macam mana you shoot the film, macam mana you
ada masalah
orang kata
apa-apa ke?
susun the film tu semua.
Cabaran apabila kita ni di usia muda, kita nak bekerja dengan orang-orang yang lebih berumur ataupun lebih otai, sebab kita pun bukan bukan sebaya diorang. Kita pun baru umur dalam time tu dalam belasan tahun dalam 19, 20, 21. So kita nak mengarah orang yang lebih tua daripada kita. Actually macam cameraman, DOP and the crew semua dah berpengalaman lebih pada 20 tahun. And kita nak mengarahkan orang tu, bagi saya itu yang lebih mencabar. And yang keduanya, the storyline and script. Untuk nak ambil hati penonton, itu pun boleh dikatakan paling mencabar.
I see.
Sebab tak semua orang minat dengan hasil karya kita. Tu yang paling susah bagi saya lah.
So untuk Amar pula macam mana?
Amar pula macam mana? Apa cabaran susah untuk Amar?
Actually I can relate dengan Irham sebenarnya in terms of like nak direct people yang lagi tua, sebab dia rasa macam that feeling of kita rasa macam kecil tau. Kita kecil nak direct orang yang lagi dah berpengalaman, lagi apa semua kan. It felt macam kalau aku cakap ni betul ke, kan nanti dia macam ingat aku salah macam tu kan. Those things lah, it makes me feel macam susah. But then at the end of the day I realise yang benda tu we as a director, we are the pilot of the kapal. So if we don't steer it well, then kalau kita tak confident in what we are pushing through, then people in the kapal pun won't be feeling safe, won't be feeling confident as well. So whatever it is, we have to go through it. It's a part of the journey. So from there, we will learn in every shoot that we go through, we will learn and learn and learn. So yeah, another thing yang I rasa very very mencabar for me is that I feel very insecure about my work because I am the kind of person who macam I overthink a lot, and in order for me to produce one story, it takes a long while because I want to make sure like every holes are patched. So I tak nak ada like plot holes, tak nak ada like all those things. I need to make it as perfect as possible that I could be satisfied at. But the problem with me is that I can never be satisfied because I put like very very high expectation on myself. So that is the thing that I need to work on lah. Yeah.
I see. Dengar tu Akmal, captain dalam kapal, itulah istilah bagi pengarah-pengarah ni. Diorang ni adalah captain. So apa-apa pun diorang kena handle semua untuk make sure that satu kapal tu bergerak. Diorang tu kru kapal-kapal tu semua. So to make sure that kapal tu bergerak dengan selamat, captain ni lah yang kena mengawal, mengemudi kapal tu dengan secara yang betulnya. Betul kan? Itulah maksud dia kan, betul lah. Okay. So dekat
Betul.
YouTube live jangan lupa komen, okay? Penonton-penonton kita di YouTube jangan lupa komen, okay?
Mungkin korang ada soalan nak tanya ke dekat Irham, Amal, boleh tanyakan.
Okay, so kalau Akila tanya apa yang macam paling ni rasa macam dah tanya
Dah
tadi.
jawab.
Macam dah jawab tadi Akila. Ada komen lain tak? Ada komen lain yang nak tanya dengan Amal dengan Irham ni?
Rasa I boleh jawab ditanya tadi
Akila.
apa yang mencabar tu.
Okay,
Akila. Okay, because making films it requires money and time is money. So when you want to shoot a film, every second counts. So you have to make sure that everything on time. So people have to come on time. The whole shoot day it has to be smooth. Usually we would shoot like macam 12 hours and above. So we have to make sure semua benda jalan lancar lah. If today kita nak shoot 3 scene, then 3 scene kena habis lah. The problem is that sometimes unexpected things are bound to happen. So usually during we shoot tu something happen lah, like someone falls sick ke, someone couldn't come ke, and all that thing. So we have to cram our head, macam we have to really think properly. Okay, kalau hari ni tak boleh buat benda ni, quickly apa yang kita boleh. Kalau macam time ni kita dekat sini, kita boleh slot in benda lain. Okay, we have to improvise. We have to keep on improvising things yang out of our control. So those are among the challenges.
Okay, dengar tu.
Boleh kena bergerak pantas lah juga.
Okay, Frankie B tanya pula.
Soalan ni.
Boleh tak explain lebih lagi on how bad filming industry was affected during pandemic? Okay, so siapa nak jawab dulu ni? Kak Ahmad
Irham
atau
nak jawab dulu?
Irham nak jawab tak lu? Irham dengar?
Amal lu.
So macam minta. Ahmad dulu.
Okay, so filming industry, how it was affected. Like I said previously, that when the pandemic happened, everything got postponed. A lot of things got cancelled, and a lot of people lost their jobs. Yang memang betul-betul full-time filmmaker, and they lost their job. They have to resort to other things, kena jual barang and all that stuff. So it's really a bad thing. And when we reach a point where kita boleh last year when we were supposed to macam open up balik, and then tiba-tiba the cases went up again, it gave like it was such a burden lah for people in my industry. So like for me, I was affected a bit during the time, but then I was 6 months jobless, and that time I dah nampak like no, I can't do this anymore. Like I have to like earn for a living, and I think that I can see that this is going for another 1 year or so, and so I decided to just work on as a marketing assistant in this one company, and I just do it until I am ready to go back to the film industry. So at the moment I'm not working in the film industry, but I wish to go back in one year macam tu.
I see.
I see.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, so kita nak terus ke question 5 lah. Boleh tak?
Ni yang best ni.
So ni yang best ni, okay. So kita nak terus question 5 which okay, sorry. Boleh tak highlightkan balik komen tadi, Frankie B tu? Boleh tak highlightkan balik komen tadi? Saya dah lupa komen tadi. Highlightkan balik komen tadi. Yang Frankie B tanya pasal how bad
Film
how bad film tu.
pandemic tu.
Boleh tak highlightkan balik komen tadi tu? Okay, so okay lah, kalau tak ada I terus skip ke soalan seterusnya lah kalau macam tu. Okay, so okay macam ni. The next question is adalah macam, okay, ini agak susah untuk korang jawab because korang kena buat tau benda ni. Okay, so boleh tak korang tunjuk sikit contoh macam mana korang bagi arahan macam masa tengah shoot. Like kalau scene bergaduh, macam mana? Boleh tak tunjukkan?
Irham nak pergi dulu.
Irham boleh tunjuk tak? Macam mana kalau scene ataupun scene sedih macam mana bagi arahan masa scene sedih? Irham buka mic. Buka mic.
Tak. Okay, siapa ada dalam ni?
Siapa? Sorry.
Siapa ada? Lecturer ke ada tak dalam ni?
Sorry.
Dengar tak? Hello? Dengar tak?
Sorry.
Dengar.
Lambat lah.
Okay. So, tak apalah, saya cakap je. Kebiasaannya kalau dalam scene gaduh, kita akan tarik aktor tu ke belakang and then kita cuba terangkan apa yang kita nak. Contohnya, kebiasaannya kita main aku je. Biasa time shooting ni tak ada formal sangat. So cakap, kau bayangkan kalau orang ni tengah buat ni, kau hentam macam tu. So kita nak dia bagi dia feel, dia rasa apa yang skrip yang kita sampaikan. So maksud dia macam dia boleh merasai atau menjiwai skrip yang kita lampirkan tu. So nak ambil masa tu agak susah sebab tu kebanyakan lah macam saya lebih suka orang yang lebih tahu pasal teater supaya bila dalam set penggambaran dia tahu apa dia nak buat. So macam dia dah biasa dengan teater. So kita bagi skrip, kita set satu tempat, dia dah nampak apa benda dia nak buat, macam mana dia nak main depan kamera tu, dia dah boleh baca dah apa yang dia nak buat.
I see. Okay. So how about you, Amma? Macam mana you bagi arahan?
For me, kalau I want to make like any scene at all, I would always discuss with them what do they think of their character. I want them to properly understand what it means like to embody their character. So let's say the conversation is between two person. This one is the opposite character of this person. So ada two person. Both of them are opposite, so I want them to understand why they are feeling that way, and the other person why they are feeling that way, and the banter between those two people. I want them to understand kenapa you have to react a certain way. Macam sometimes you can just be loud. Kalau you marah, you can just be loud. Tapi I want them to understand kenapa you have to be soft for this one. All those things ada kena mengena like macam to make them. It's not just macam kalau gaduh you gaduh macam bertumbuk-tumbuk and just like that, you know. I want them to have a depth. I want each character to have depth in themselves, what they believe in, what they don't believe in, the things that they want and the things that they need. So all those things will contribute to their character and how they reflect on the screen macam tu. So what I do always is that I will rehearse with them a lot of times. I will rehearse and I will give them room for them to improvise, and I will say that if you think there's a certain way yang you rasa macam is better, then let me know. So we can discuss it together and I will tell if it's better or if it doesn't fit with what with my vision. Like that. So yeah, it's more on like a personal thing where we understand each other in a way that we understand each character. Macam tu. So each character memang kena faham every character yang ada in that scene or in that story. Like that.
Betul.
I see. So kita memang kena betul-betul rehearse banyak kali tau, Akmal. Macam kita lah, kita jadi MC ni kita rehearse banyak kali, betul tak? To make sure that kita dapat apa yang kita nak. Kena buat banyak kali. Okay. Thank you Amma and Irham for the answer. So memang sangat ni. Okay, kita ada soalan daripada Haris Hakim. Ada any important tips tak for a beginner filmmaker? So I nak Amma lah jawab dulu, boleh tak?
Okay. I would say fake it till you make it. Because when you're a beginner, you wouldn't know what you want to do. So you see something that interests you, something that you rasa, oh, I nak buat lah macam ni. So you just do it because an artist copy and they make it better. So that is your task. You copy something, but don't copy exactly for what it is, because when you copy, then you're just a bad artist lah. So what you do is that you copy and make it better. Because if you see Quentin Tarantino, Quentin Tarantino pun most of his films, he copies things from other films and then he made it better. So people think that he's original, but he's not. So yeah, you just try je. You see something that interests you, you buat je. Yeah, the things will come in the future.
Okay. So Irham, apa tips untuk film maker beginners? Irham. Buka mic. Buka mic Irham.
Bagi saya macam Amar juga, apa dia nak buat tu, teruskan. Tak perlu dengar mulut-mulut orang macam tak boleh buat macam ni, kau kena buat macam ni, kau kena buat macam ni. Jadi kreativiti seorang pengarah ataupun teamwork, actually macam DOP ke editor ke, dia rasa macam benda tu tak bebas. Sebab dia dah bayangkan, okay aku nak buat sini, ada sunset macam ni. Tiba-tiba member cakap, tak lawa siut. Aku rasa kena ambil daripada shot bawah. So plan yang dia nak buat tu terbatas. Point of story dia, kau pekakkan telinga je. Kau cari team kau yang 5 orang tu, and then kau dah plan apa-apa satu kepala mengikut skrip yang kita bincang sebelum ni, yang kita dah tulis. Kita ikut the storyboard. Sebab tu bila setiap video ataupun setiap short film, anything, video ke apa, dia mesti kena ada storyboard. Maksudnya kita dah plan step 1, step 2, 3 dan 4, kita dah plan semua tu. Jadi kalau ada orang ketiga, keempat yang datang daripada mana-mana nak bagi idea, sebab dia dah biasa tengok movie, oh ni kan. Tapi kau masuk plan kita jadi macam tak smooth. Memang betul ada plan A, B, C, D. Tapi bagi saya dia lagi bagus kita ikut plan yang asal dia, plan A. Sebab untuk pengetahuan yang tengah korang yang tengok live ni, kadang-kadang kita pun kena jaga batas juga, sebab kita pun ada finance, penapis filem. So kita ada rule. Kita jangan comparekan filem kita, short filem kita dengan short filem luar negara. Macam kita ada finance. So ada sesetengah video part ataupun scene perlu ditapis sebelum ke layar perak.
Okay, dengar tu. So everyone yang nak start, dah macam orang kata pengarah-pengarah muda ni yang nak start pengarahan, korang boleh just keep going je, okay? Jangan dengar kata-kata negatif from orang tu. Okay.
Dan buat je apa rasa nak buat.
Betul lah. Like Amar said before, kita kena just going on. Jangan dengar kata-kata negatif. Kalau kita dengar kata-kata negatif ni, memang tak boleh lah kita nak teruskan kehidupan kita, betul tak? Okay. Okay. So, alright. So kita akan, Akmal, I think kita kena teruskan soalan.
Right, so macam sekarang ni kita ialah dalam era pandemik sebagainya, jadi ada a few director yang dia buat orang kata based on true story film, especially pasal frontliners tu semua, in terms of nak menghargai and also nak dekatkan kita dengan the reality of pandemik sekarang ni. So macam you guys pula, kalau nak buat filem tu you guys suka konsep yang macam mana? Adakah sama juga you guys suka based on true story, ataupun you guys prefer macam rekaan semata-mata, atau you guys sendiri suka filem yang memang lain daripada orang lain? So mungkin Amar boleh jawab dulu.
Okay, so I think for me personally lah, that this is my point of view. I rasa I lebih suka things yang based on true story, but not like macam cerita frontliners or something like that. For me, I personally I suka benda yang very personal tau. I am the kind of person yang I suka kalau I naik Grab, I suka cakap dengan the driver and to know like what they think about life, how they see life, how what are their experience, because in those short moments yang you are in the car with the driver, you can actually learn a lot about someone's life, and it is something yang always inspire me to write a story just from something that macam something kecil, an incident that happened to you. You tell me, I will make a world around it like that. I suka benda-benda macam tu because it's when you make something based on true story, it's more personal, and I think it's more relatable for us. I like fiction story as well, and I aspire to make like different kind of film, not just restricting myself based on true story je. I want to do other things as well. Tapi for me, I like to watch things yang I could relate, and I could personally rasa macam, oh damn, I pun rasa macam ni, macam tu, you know. Yeah.
I see.
Wow, such a good explanation, Amar. Wow, alright. Okay, so Irham, macam mana kalau you nak buat filem, suka filem yang berkonsep macam mana? Ataupun memang suka kisah benar ataupun
True story.
suka menggunakan idea? True story.
True story.
Okay.
Tak ada rekaan semata-mata. Kebanyakan true story sebab macam saya sendiri, saya suka berjumpa dengan orang ramai, and orang ramai yang saya jumpa tu macam street life di jalanan. Contoh saya bagi contoh tahun 2013 saya ada jumpa satu perempuan tua di lorong-lorong Coket tu, sebab bukan saya pergi ke Coket untuk cari saya memang ambil jalan pintas untuk nak pergi ambil motor saya lalu, and then saya nampak satu makcik tua tu dia pakai lipstick bagai kan, and then dia minta adik minta lighter. Saya cakap biar betul ni kan. Ada pergi jumpa dia, nak lighter, kita bagi lighter kat dia, lepas tu tanya dah duduk situ lama kan, and then kat situlah kita nak berkomunikasi dengan orang, and kita boleh korek rahsia dia, kenapa dia ada dekat sini. So the true story ni sebenarnya lagi bagus untuk masyarakat yang ada di Malaysia, sebab masalah ni kadang-kadang pusi-pusi dalam circle ni lebih kurang aja, cuma berbeza masalah. Jadi kita angkatkan daripada masalah ataupun the true story tu ke sebuah short film and film, ataupun dalam satu bentuk video lah. Tak kisahlah muzik video ke apa-apa.
I see.
Now that Irham mentioned tu, korang pernah tengok Songlap tak?
Pernah tengok Songlap.
Songlap is one of a prime example of how street life and how they bring it on to the screen, and it is one of those films yang memang I rasa is very good sebab it pushes the boundaries of like showing the reality. It's not always like fancy datuk datin and all that stuff, you know. The things on the street is more something we can relate on. Like Songlap, what's that movie? Pekak, a few more I can't remember. Kickflip, all those films, Malaysian films, I rasa is much more relatable for us. Yeah.
See.
Okay, so kalau Songlap is dilakonkan oleh Shazi Sam if I'm not mistaken.
Shazi Sam.
Yeah. Alright, I watched the Songlap and the film by Namron, Want to Jaga. It's actually good movie too.
Coket, pernah tengok Coket?
Yeah, Coket, Dira Abuza if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, that's one of my favourite movie. Memang kita nampakkan dekat situ memang diorang gunakan apa orang kata situation yang sebenar untuk menggambarkan apa yang berlaku sebenarnya. Okay, so korang yang tengah tengok YouTube live ni, kita akan nak tunjukkan sikit. Ada soalan dulu. Okay, ada soalan. Okay, apa pendapat Irham? Akmal nak baca. Akmal.
So apa pendapat Irham dan Amar untuk Nowadays punya pelakon? Sebab kadang disebabkan followers ramai and also good looking je terus boleh jadi actor, bukannya pada bakat. So,
Amar bantai.
My personal point of view, I rasa we should stop this. We should stop this taking actors based on their followers, because it is becoming a normality in Malaysia, where I myself as a filmmaker, short film director, I pernah pergi casting, and when I went to casting, I have to fill in the form. When I was filling the form, I kena tulis the IG, FB and Twitter punya followers, which memang I tak ada lah. So I rasa macam, like, I'm not saying I'm a good actor, obviously not. I'm also like trying, tapi I rasa macam I'm sure there are people ramai yang are very good, are very talented, and because of their lack of followers, they are not chosen. So I believe this needs to stop. But then I also understand like why they do this. They do this is because they want to macam attract macam more people. When people with big followers, when they post ke, they promote ke apa ke, oh macam ramai orang tahu. But then it shouldn't be the case. People have to keep on finding talented people. We have to push all these talented people, because kalau tak, sampai bila? And this might seem like a long term punya thing, but then it will be as time goes on, people will lose interest in the Malaysian films, because on there je mesti nampak macam, oh, only these people yang tak reti berlakon pun sebenarnya, you know. So it will give a bad impact for the long run, and I don't like it. Yeah.
Wow. That's a fact sama. Okay. So Irham, apa pendapat Irham pasal tu? Irham,
Soalan
takut je.
pun panas petang ni. Tahulah panas. Soalan panas lah semua
Okay Irham, boleh jawab Irham.
Macam bagi okay, macam saya, pendapat saya untuk daripada segi follower Instagram ni berlainan pendapat. Macam bagi saya tak pandang daripada segi followers. Saya memang tak pandang daripada segi followers. Saya punya Instagram ni hanya semata-mata untuk kita punya galeri. So banyak yang ada bakat dekat luar sana tapi tak diangkat sebab disekat oleh benda-benda macam ni lah. Macam follower, viewers, and dah terbukti benda ni pun ada jual daripada segi view, like and share bagai semua tu. So benda tu macam tak original. Sebab bila dekat casting, bila okay, aku boleh bagi contoh Okay. Bila aku pergi casting, okay, aku open dekat story tau, okay, aku perlukan pelakon ni bagai, and then yang DM tu follower yang 100k punya, 200k, and then kita kata tak apa lah, jemput datang lah. Bagus, follower tinggi tu memang bagus. So kita wow, daripada segi marketing memang alhamdulillah lah. Bila pergi ke casting, and then dia datang casting, bila kita suruh dia buat watak, kita bagi contoh watak nangis, watak ni apa semua, memang keras. Jadi kat situ alamak, kita dah kesetukan masa, maksudnya kita nak cari pelakon, and kita dah plan nak macam mana dengan badan ni apa semua, tiba-tiba datang nak diajar time tu, bagi aku macam susah lah. Melainkan memang pakai orang dalam macam aku tak minat pakai kabel ni, macam oh ni bapak dia ni, kita kena pakai dia ni, kita pakai ni. Sebab benda tu tak original. Aku bagi contoh aku bagi contoh arwah Yasmin Ahmad. Arwah Yasmin Ahmad. So zaman tu memang tak ada Instagram, Facebook, MySpace pun aku rasa macam kurang kot time tu. Tapi macam mana diorang angkat macam Sharifah Amani, macam geng-geng lama tu semua kan, Adi Bano untuk dalam sebuah filem macam Setpad semua tu. So bagi aku macam follower ni macam ada baik ada buruk dia.
I see. Okay, so kalau kita nampak kat situ, quality tu lah penting kan. Adakah zaman sekarang ni quality pelakon tu ada makin berkurang? Sebab compare tu dulu memang kita ambil betul-betul orang tu, kalau pandai berlakon memang kita ambil dia. Bukan kita tengok based on the followers, on the look. Okay. So korang yang dekat YouTube live ni, kita nak upkan, kita nak tengok short film, kita nak tengok preview sikit short film diorang dua ni. Okay, so korang boleh tak? Kita nak tengok short film Amar dengan short film Irham. Kita nak tengok sekejap je, tak sampai tak full pun. Okay? Kita tengok filem Amar dulu, which is Rapuh. Mari tengok. Mari kita saksikan.
Jom.
Jom.
Kalau mama pergi.
Syadik, janganlah cakap macam tu.
Janganlah dulu.
Adik tolong adik angkat abang call. Dia orang cakap apa lagi? Boleh tak sepanjang minggu ni saya nak balik awal sikit. Saya kena gantikan tempat mak saya buat sementara waktu.
Hari ni kita tengok mama nak ikut ke?
Tak nak bagi tahu dekat ayah dulu.
Hati abang.
Apa sebenarnya yang bermain dalam fikiran awak?
Sejak ada masuk dalam kita ni, pernah dia tanya, abang dah makan? Adik exam macam mana adik? Tak pernah lah mak.
Segera mulai, tak tentu boleh biarkan.
Wow.
Wow.
Oh,
Dah tunjuk
nak tengok. Wow, I tak pernah tengok. Actually, I nak tengok Rapu ni. I dah tengok, yang tu lah I tengok trailer dulu kan. Tak tengok lagi the full movie. But actually, I akan tengok lepas habis interview ni. So, okay. So, kita nak tengok pula short film from Irham. Okay, so mari kita saksikan. Okay, sorry. Okay, so kita dah tengok semua short movie from our director ni kan. So Amar, can you ceritakan sikit what is Rapu sebenarnya?
Rapu is actually a story about the perspective of a family that is crumbling down because of the core of the family to hilang, which is the mother. So in this story, the mother was pregnant and they are living in a quite a broken family because all of them cannot communicate well with each other tau. So semua ada ego sendiri, semua ada masalah with communication with everyone, semua ada macam backstory of themselves. Diorang pun ada like diorang like I said lah, I love it when my characters is complete, meaning diorang punya belief, diorang punya what they want, what they need, what they like, what they don't like, all those things. So benda tu yang buatkan I think Rapu is a very special short film that I made yang I rasa it holds close to me because I managed to build characters yang very berat tau. All these characters ni macam very human to me. Yeah, so that is a story lah, because the story itself is divided into 3 parts. The first part is shown from each of the family members punya perspective on one incident macam tu, and we see like the journey in every part. Macam okay, dia buat benda ni, oh yang ni buat benda ni, ni buat benda ni, and then when they come together, we understand. We are like the third person yang kita tengah tengok sekarang ni. Oh macam like that, you know. Yeah.
Oh, I see. That's a very
quite experimental lah.
Okay. I think it's an impactful movie actually.
Dia tengok ke?
Okay. Anak tengok, tak sabar nak tengok. Okay, so Irham boleh ceritakan sikit pasal, okay sorry tadi tak dapat play kita sebab saya nampak dekat saya tapi tak tahu dekat YouTube live nampak tak Kayu. So Irham boleh ceritakan sikit apa Kayu sebenarnya, filem Kayu ni sebenarnya?
Okay, short film Kayu ni sebenarnya dia menceritakan seorang pelajar yang dia dalam bidang kemahiran. Okey, sebab dekat sekolah adalah bidang sains, ekonomi, fizik, bagai semua tu, ekonomi semua, tapi dia dalam bidang kemahiran. So dia rasa macam dia tak boleh go dalam bidang kemahiran tu. Maksud dia macam kemahiran ni tak ke mana-mana. So sebuah short film ni saya nak menceritakan tentang tak kira bidang. Maksud dia macam kalau kau dekat dalam bidang kemahiran pun sebenarnya kau ada jalan penyelesaian untuk maju ke depan. Maksud dia tak semestinya sebab kebanyakan orang pandang dalam bidang kemahiran ni agak rendah. Oh, means kalau PT3 PMR result macam tak okey, kau dicampak dalam bidang kemahiran. Kau dicampak ke dalam bidang bawah-bawah. So bagi aku tak semestinya dalam bidang kemahiran tu tak boleh go. Maksud tak boleh pergi jauh. Sebab Jabatan Pelajaran Malaysia ataupun Kementerian Pelajaran Malaysia dah buat semua bidang kos di dalam Malaysia ni bukan suka-suka je semata-mata. Semua ada kelebihan dan ada kekurangan. So sama je.
Okay.
Betul juga tu.
Okay, betul, itulah maksud Kayu dalam filem Kayu. So Akmal, kita kena tengok dua-dua, Rapuh and Kayu.
Yes.
Kita kena tengok semua filem-filem pendek diorang ni lah.
Semua sekali ni.
Okay, betul. Malah lepas habis slot ni kita tengok sama-sama Akmal, okay? Okay, so kita pun dah sampai penghujung rancangan semua, okay? Agak sedih kita tak ada banyak masa, okay? Kita pun dah pukul 6 kan, slot 1 jam rasa macam tak cukup sebenarnya, tak tahu lama lagi kan. So okay, Akmal nak cakap apa-apa dulu before kita ni?
First of all nak cakap thank you to Irham and Alma for the sharing and so on semua. Thank you so much. It's actually a new knowledge juga untuk kita semua. Because tak ramai yang di-expose dengan industri perfilman ni, especially orang kata daripada side as director lah. So thank you so much.
Betul. So alright, so hopefully that Ahmad and Irham, kita orang doakan korang teruskan berkarya, membuatkan lebih filem-filem yang terus membanggakan industri seni filem Malaysia. And kita orang cakap terima kasih banyak-banyak kerana sesi perkongsian ilmu yang disampaikan amat memberi impak kepada penonton-penonton di YouTube sekarang ni. Terima kasih banyak-banyak Ahmad dan Irham. Minta maaf. Okay. So everyone yang tengah tengok YouTube sekarang, jangan lupa untuk kita saksikan live kita malam ni lagi, which is kita ada Alina Haris untuk slot malam ni, slot menyanyi. So stay tuned and okay, goodbye everyone.
Right,
stay safe.
Thank you for the opportunity. Just want to say that thank you for the opportunity, Adam, Akmal and the whole team, Irham also for being here. So for everyone yang ada dekat YouTube ni, thank you so much for watching, and please I just want to say that please watch more films. If you like films, please watch more films, because don't just watch like English films, also watch like all other films, foreign films, Iran films, Thailand film, all films. Tengok je, because from there you could see that how we can reach there, and one day you guys will be the audience for us in the future. So yeah.
I see. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
So thanks kepada Ama, thanks kepada Adam, actually daripada KPTM KL.
Yeah.
Ini dah level apa ni? Sampai buat YouTube macam ni. Gila, so hope korang boleh pergi lebih jauh. So harap team Fuse and the Moose kekal. Habis belajar pun kekal. Tahu boleh maju ke depan, boleh buka production. Kita tak tahu.
Kita orang memang kita
orang
nak buat team nanti.
Jangan berhenti. Ya memang korang kena buat team, teruskan sebab dari segi marketing overall Instagram aku tengok memang terbaik. Ini bukan level student. So thanks invite. Thanks.
Alright, thank you Amma, thank you Irham. Okay, see you guys. Apa-apa pun jangan lupa follow kita orang punya IG. Jangan lupa follow tu, diorang punya IG tu, Irham Rusaidi dan juga Ammar Azim, okay?
Kalau nak tengok short film yang tak ada kat YouTube, Roger.
Alright, boleh Ammar, thank you Ammar. Boleh. Kita akan roger you.
Yes.
Alisted.
Alright.
Alisted.
What?
Okay, bye semua.
Bye.
Alright, bye.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
Day, every night, I've been thinking back on you.